So good morning everybody. You can hear my voice and also see my screen clearly. Today is 18th of May. So we're not going to look at this the first. We're going to look at our charts from the weekly point of view, and we see exactly what we expect to be happening before we move to the strength meter. So the first one, we'll start with the Euro USD, and this is what, as you can see, we actually have some good downtrend. We have price continue to the lower side. We have a support here, and as you can see, this is like some expanding wedge formation, which means the price may be continuing to the lower. So while the price is still being held within this shape formation, we'll actually be waiting for a sell when the price gets back to this point, or when it breaks below the support, the line at the bottom. So two things: when the price goes below this point, the two lines 1.0670, we'll be looking for a sell, and when the price retraces back up to the same point from the top, this level here, we'll be looking for a sell, which means if the price should continue downwards, that is, if should it be below this support, we also do have a minor support here. Should the price break below 1.08093, then that will be a good place where we want to consider a sell from, which means as it is now, we are flat. On the daily, this is what we are seeing. We have a support here, and we do have a support here, which means this could be a good place we want to buy from. So simply wait for price to pull back down up to this point so that you pick a buy from that point. Expect that buy to take price up to this resistance. Of course, there's a resistance here where the price must first of all break beyond this. This is a very good level. Unless the price clearly ascends above this point, unless the price goes above this resistance here, this resistance, unless the price breaks above it, retraces back, we are going to consider it a very good sell place. So let's see what we start GBPUSD. So GBPUSD, basically we went below a good level, went below a very good support. We had a support here, we had a support, like some expanding wedge formation. This was a resistance, we had a support here, we had, then this candle went below, it came back, and this gave us the correct place to look for a sell. So if you sold it around here, you're supposed to hold on to that trade up to this support, where after the break we want a retracement back to the same place so that we pick a sell up to the support. So basically that's what we're waiting for. We want price to retrace back up to the trend line, to this support here, 1.22174, so that we pick a sell position with our stop loss above this high, and our take profit should be here. So the next symbol is USDJPY. I will close this. USDJPY, we have a sell. We do have a sell position. If you place your charts like this, you can see that we have some very good shape formation here, image formation here. We also have another line from the top. So this like a very good resistance. We had a resistance previously, we had a resistance, we had a resistance, we had a support, we had a support. So should the price come back up to this point, this should be a good place to go for a sell, which means we just need price to come back up to that point so that we can look for that sell. If the current day's candle can come back, or if this week's candle can come back up to this point, we'll be expecting some sell around this trend line. So the next symbol is SP500. So this is upwards. As you can see, the price continues to move to the upper side. and we are within like a expanding wedge formation. This is an expanding wedge formation. If you draw your lines like this, and then you also draw another one from the top, you can basically see that we are within some expanding wedge formation. We had a support here, we had a support previously, I mean a resistance, we had a support, we had a support, and we had a support just this last week. So following this bounce, we do expect a continuation to the upper side up to this resistance. Instead of going, if the price fails to move up to this point, then we do expect a retracement up to the same trend line, so that we look for buy position. So either way, this should be a good place to buy from. Still in the future, price can pull back to it, then that will give us the ideal place to look for a buy from. If you bought it here previously, well and good, just hold on to that position, expect a continuation to the upper side. If you've not bought it already, wait for that retracement or look for buy positions, expect those positions to push price much higher. So we'll move forward. Let's see what we have on our next symbol. We look at this Brent oil. Brent oil is here. So earlier today there was a bullish gap. The price gapped to the upper side, but we are approaching a resistance. So it's like the price has gapped into a resistance here. Following the gap, this is the gap that I'm referring to, the space in between these two candles that was seen earlier. This is the gap. Price gap from this point up to this point, but we do have a resistance here. So do we expect that gap to push price up to that? Of course, we started buying it when this happened, after the break beyond this shape. So we started buying it. So after this break above, we were waiting for perfect retest happen. So if you bought it, maybe you bought it with these tails here, you're supposed to hold on to that trade up to the resistance which is there on the four. So that would mean you took a buy from this point, still holding on. You took a buy from this point, yeah, we are still holding on, expecting price to go up to this resistance, where if it goes above it to proceed much higher. So as it is now, this is still bullish on my side. We still expect price to continue to the upper side, should give us some retracements. Maybe if the price pulls back slightly to the lower side after breaking above, that will be the correct place to consider more buy positions. Let's move forward. Let's see what we have on our next symbol. We look at is gold. Gold so far has been upwards. The price continues to move to the upper side. As you can see, there was this massive spike to the upper side, but we do resistance here. So this should be a good place we want the price to retrace back up to. Have a resistance, there's this break above, we want a retracement and then a continuation to the upper side. The price needs to retrace back before news to the upper side. So this should be the correct place to look for a buy from. If you're on this chart now, maybe you took a buy after this breakout, you are supposed to wait for price to retrace back up to the same place. The price can come back maybe in the near future. If it can come back up to this point, then that should be the correct place you want to look for a buy from. So thank you very much. That should bring us to the end of today's webinar. But before I conclude, I want to look at the strength meter. So as it is now, we have being the strongest, Australian dollar being the strongest. It is followed by either British pound and New Zealand dollar. So we have Japanese yen and Swiss franc. So if you're trying to trade a combination of either these two, trade a combination of either British pound and yen, or British pound and Swiss franc, or you can trade Australian dollar versus Japanese yen, Australian dollar versus Swiss franc. So that's based on the strength. If you have to trade based on the trend, we do have Euro GBP, where we have an active uptrend, and then we have GBP USD, where we have an active downtrend. We have GBP CHF, an active downtrend. We also an active downtrend. So basically, all the pairs where we have GBP as the base currency, they're in an active downtrend, and we have an active uptrend. I mean, all the currency pairs where we have GBP as the base currency, they're in a downtrend, and where we have GBP as the quote currency, in this case GBP, Euro GBP, there's an active uptrend. So thank you very much. That should be the end of today's webinar. We meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. See you.